What's going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to episode 16 of the Lured Up Creator Series, the podcast bringing your favorite content creators to talk about their work, process, and the game that brings it all together, Pokemon Go. Lured Up is part of the Pokemon Professor Network, and today is Saturday, September 19th, 2020. I'm your host, Ken Pescatore, and this week, I'm very excited to be joined by Mel and Dan from the Silph Arena. What's up, y'all? How are you?
Hello.
Hey there.
Hello. Welcome. Hi. Welcome. Look, we're allowed to be loud and obnoxious and dumb and stuff. So just, it's fine. I love having people from the Pokemon space from all different areas, people that are used to being like on camera, off camera, audio creators, video creators. And it's always fun to have people that are either on the development side or kind of like, the behind the scenes on, because it's, when you put them in front of a microphone, it usually brings a cool dynamic, and it usually starts out real slow and low and mellow. And then maybe by halfway, I don't know, we're taking pants off and stuff. So we'll see if we can get there. It'll be a lot of fun, but thank you both so much for being here. I'm really, really excited to get to know you and learn about the Silph Arena. Silph Arena is something that's been near and dear to my heart from the beginning. And I'm very, very excited for what's to come in Season 3, and we'll ultimately get there in our conversation. But why don't we start with some basic introductions? Why don't you take some time to introduce yourself, let us know where you're from, let us know what you do at the arena.
Sure. Hey, I'm Dan. Also, Drock or D-Rock, or however you want to pronounce it, is my username. So I'm from the South Bend area in Indiana, and I head up our communications for the arena, social media, announcements, content, stuff like that.
Nice.
And I'm Mel. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. I am working with the legislation team, but I also help out on different projects and things as well with the arena. You know me as Mel Good 711 most of the time, probably, but everyone just calls me Mel. So yeah, I'm just Mel.
I know you as the person that's constantly posting Lord of the Rings gifs. So
Yes!
it's like, I'm telling you, it's like whenever it happens, I'm like, yes, I got to post like some kind of Lord of the Rings thing, because my whole life I've been completely obsessed with everything Tolkien. So
my proposal from my husband was Lord of the Rings themed, and so is his wedding band. And we do an extended edition watch once a year. So.
Hell yeah. I've been reading the Silmarillion for about 30 years now. I still haven't made it through, but I'm working on it.
Get through, yeah.
It's like the bathroom book. It's been in my bathroom literally for like 30 years. It's like one of these days I'll figure out a way to get through it. But
yes.
I love the Tolkien stuff. So that's always really cool and really funny. But how long have you both been associated with Silph?
So I joined Silph probably, I think it was like 3 weeks before the first Go Fest. I joined the Indiana team as a guide, and was a guide for a little bit, moved up to Ranger. So I was kind of getting involved with the whole state. And then when the Silph Arena kind of first got started, I jumped on that team, and have been with the arena since. I stepped down as a Ranger after a little bit. Things got busy with work, and the arena takes up a lot of time. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a while. What is it now? 3.5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Nice, right.
I joined Silph in May of 2018, so right before the second Go Fest. And I was a guide for the Pittsburgh area. And then in December of that year, I got promoted to be Ranger for Pennsylvania. I still do that now, on top of working on the arena team. I joined the arena team in July of 2019, so a little over a year now. I think mostly because I was just yelling at the team all the time, like, hey, what about this? Hey, guys, what about this? What about this? And they were like, well, fine,
accurate.
Just do it then. I love being a part of this team. It's such an awesome experience and so much fun. So, and I also do a whole bunch of other stuff for the Silph Road too. Events-related things, moderation-related things, but don't tell anyone, but my heart belongs to the arena.
Yes, I won't tell anyone that Mel's heart belongs to the arena. Clip that shit. But all right, so what's your kind of background with Pokemon? So I'm always intrigued by this because I've, obviously when I work with creators that are doing on camera stuff and, video production, they're typically very passionate and diehard about the franchise and about Pokemon at large. Now, when I've talked to some people that are on the dev side or on the behind the scenes thing, there's not always that connection personally with the franchise. Where are things at with you personally, for both of you, with the Pokemon franchise? Was Go kind of your introduction to it, or do you have a history that goes back, sometime over the past 2 decades with the Pokemon franchise at large?
I actually started all the way back with Pokemon Blue. I remember playing that as a really little kid and barely being able to read and getting stuck places because I was not very good at reading when I was that young. But
Nice.
I've been with it since it first started here, collecting the cards when I was a kid and watching the anime. The main series, though, has been kind of my pathway until Pokemon Go came out. I remember I was a music major in college, and I remember practicing for my recital, and I would practice for an hour, and my reward would be playing Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire for like 20 minutes, and then I'll have to go back and practice for another hour and then play like 20 minutes of the game. And then Pokemon Go was like a dream come true. It's like Pokemon in real life. Like, sign me up right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so growing up, it's been with me for a while.
Nice.
Yeah, we definitely have similar journeys. I also started out with Pokemon Blue. I picked my Squirtle, and Squirtle and I have been buddies ever since. Played Red, played Yellow, played the trading card game. I played the trading card game on Game Boy. If my mom is even into the games, like, she would play them on the Game Boy too. I remember collecting the cards with my younger brother. Always played Pokemon. And then my husband and I got into Ingress a couple of years before Pokemon Go came out. And so we played that for a while, a lot, actually. There was a really active scene here in Pittsburgh in Ingress, and so we were pretty involved with the community. We did an Anomaly, which was amazing here in Pittsburgh. And then we heard Pokemon Go was coming out. We were like, oh yeah, sign me up for the beta. And so we got involved in the beta of Pokemon Go via Ingress, and I just remember opening up the game for the first time, just being like, oh my god, this is my childhood dreams come true. I could catch this Pokemon right here on the bus.
So many people I talk to, they're like, literally from the first time the loading screen like put you into the world and you pick your starter and all that, that was it. Like, that was the moment of truth, and from there it was just like, never-ending journey at that point. I love that. That warms my heart. It's awesome that both of you have a kind of a long-standing relationship with the franchise, because I do as well. So whenever I meet people that have been into it for a long time, I instantly have this camaraderie and this understanding. And for the old school Pokemon people, before competition was really a thing, the feeling and the vibe and the moral and ethic kind of code of what Pokemon was back then, it's just when I know people have been in it for a long time, I'm like, all right, this is about community and friendship and love and loyalty and honesty and like all those cheesy things that were like, the lessons of the anime back in like, 2001. It's just so cool to see people stick with the franchise and then ultimately be doing something for the community, creating in some way. That warms my heart. So that's awesome. But why don't you explain what this Silph Arena is? I mean, I guess you could start a little bit on what the Silph Road is, but explain what the Silph Arena is and kind of how that's developed over the years, and if someone's not familiar with it, what they can expect if they were to visit the site and kind of, snoop around.
So the Silph Road in general, that's kind of the umbrella organization, is I guess the official line is a grassroots Pokemon Go network. It's a place where people can connect and talk and learn about the game. It has resources for people to find communities in their areas, find other people like them who want to play the game. There's a lot of research done into the mechanics of Pokemon Go, shiny rates, spawn rates, different things like that. The Silph Science and Research team is huge and does some really cool projects and dives into different features. The Silph Arena is an offshoot of the Silph Road. It's what we say is the premier competitive PvP league in Pokemon Go. So it's a platform for communities to host tournaments, and people can participate in PvP tournaments using different themes or metas, all for the chance to be the very best, the original dream.
And how has the arena grown over the years? Because, I remember when it first launched, it was such a unique thing that you had this third-party kind of community that paired so well with the first-party game. It almost seemed like it was an extension of the game itself. And it was very grassroots in the beginning, and it just grew and grew and grew. How has the arena grown over the years? Not just from a personnel and team member perspective, but, as far as like installations across the world with people hosting tournaments and stuff like that.
It's grown a ton. Internally, I think the team and the org is almost unrecognizable from what it was in the beginning. I mean, when it started, I think there were maybe 7 of us officially on the arena team, kind of just, waiting around and trying to keep afloat and keep things going. It was a lot of fun and lots of really cool things going. But from what we were then to what we offer now, it's a very big difference. Originally we were just, throwing monthly cups out there and looking at what comes next. And now there's huge tournaments that people host, those mega tournaments. There's these flash remotes that happen all the time. There's battle towers that, we had a couple of, and hopefully we'll have more, in the near future. We have, the big world championships that just happened. And what's really cool is how much of the growth and the change and the cool things that happen are community driven. It's not just the team, making something up and giving it to everyone, but so many cool ideas, streams, videos, events, everything is coming from the community. And it's really exciting to watch these people create these awesome things that, we get to take part in and help out with and just give to the community.
Yeah, I think that the community element with this game in general, the community element is so incredibly important. And with an initiative like the Silph Arena, where it really is powered by the community, and it's up to the community to create these subcultures and these sub-communities of players and host these tournaments and bring people together. So it really is a grassroots effort. I love that philosophy. And it has been really cool to watch grow, and especially over the last couple months. I mean, PvP has just flourished, especially from a content perspective, because everyone's home and everyone's got time to kind of devote. So it's definitely been very, very exciting to watch this growth, because, I've hosted, I probably hosted like 40 or 50 live events over the past 2 years. So I mean, I remember struggling to get 7-8 people into a tournament, whereas, of course we, the shit hit the fan with COVID and it's been a little crazy lately, but, then you see the thing like the megas and the battle towers and people traveling from around the world to come to these events. And it is really cool to remember and recognize, like, oh, this is still a third party thing. Like, this is still a community driven private event. And that's very cool. And seeing that growth is phenomenal. So kudos to the whole team to see how the trajectory of how this is shaped out over time. But let's talk about how the arena itself functions, because I think the element of the Silph.gg website and how it actually functions has made and provides players and empowers communities really with the tools to kind of have this high level cooperative, tool set that lets them do such cool things for their community. So let's talk about it a little bit. You said limited metas, and I mean, I'm sure the majority of our community is very familiar with how this works, but when we say like a meta or a limited meta, what we're referring to is a subset of Pokemon or some kind of rule set that's going to limit the Pokemon that can be used in that event. And that way, and it can be themed around, anything really. It could be themed around any kind of vibe or a jungle cup or the boulder cup, to where something like the circus cup that's been I mean, there's been so many different metas that have had such an incredible impact. And you have this tool set on the website where you can register and do your reporting. Explain that flow of how, a person would get involved with the Silph Arena, what they would need to do as a trainer, and how they can kind of get something going in their community. Because I always see this when I talk to people about it. They say, "Oh man, it's got to be so hard to do this." But it really, the Silph Arena really provides a pretty straightforward roadmap to pulling this stuff off, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of really great resources on the website for new players who are just starting out and wanting to get involved. If you're on mobile or if you're on desktop, you can access the website easily, which I think is super convenient, both from like a tournament organizer perspective and as a player. As a tournament organizer myself, I like to have a second device so that way I can have pairings and things up on one device and be worrying about my own matches on another device. So that's really convenient. But the website has a lot of good resources if you want to start hosting tournaments, or if you're just getting into the PvP scene and kind of want to understand what things are about. So under the Arena Info tab on the main website, there's a whole article about how to host a tournament. And then there's the PvP resources tab, which I think is awesome and has been growing over the course of the past season. There's a whole series on getting started in PvP, how to build a good team, smart power-ups, and advanced PvP strategies. So that way when people are talking about things like charge move priority or farming or things like that, you kind of can understand some of the lingo that has been developed by the community, and understand what they're talking about in terms of strategy and things like that. So I definitely recommend checking out those resources. And then once you're registered as a community with Silph to start hosting tournaments, as an admin, there's a whole other section of resources and things available to you, as well as our Discord, where tournament organizers all hop on and chat about different things like, hey, look at this really cool prize that we got, or do you have a suggestion on a location for regionals, or things like that. And it becomes a really nice collaborative effort between different groups and different people sharing ideas and things. And I love that. And then, of course, there's all kinds of content creators out there, too, making incredible content featuring their metas and things like that. So you can find different breakdowns on strategies or typings or team building. I mean, it's how much is out there and available to people who are interested in getting involved.
Yeah, I think getting over the initial hump is probably something that is much easier than many may think. And really, even for the layman, I believe that if you wanted to host a tournament, it's something that really can be whipped up in like 60 seconds. That's how easy it is. And there's been times where, for whatever reason, I had to scrap a tournament and create another one to run parallel with it. And it's like, oh, this is going to take forever to set up. And it's like, actually, no. It's like, I can have this thing up and running, and people can start registering in 30 seconds. Like, just give me a minute, and literally it'll be up and running. So I think the how simple to use the tools are on the site is crucial to understanding how streamlined this process is, and I love it. And I mean, really, from being paired up with your opponent, I think that something that's worth talking about is the style of the, choose 6 Pokemon, pick 3 to compete with. And this is something that GBL doesn't have. This is something that the battlers and the community at large loves about the Silph Arena. And that, you being able to see your matchups, that's really a major differentiator from what people may be used to with GBL. It's a little bit more of a calculated and structured format, and I love that. And I think that adds to the ability of players to kind of really strategize. And you do everything on the website. Just to kind of circle back to how this all functions, you would literally get your be assigned your matchups automatically on the website, and you do your battles and you report your results, and literally everything just updates like magic. And that's how simple it is. So I I did want to push that point of just how incredibly easy and user friendly the website is, because it's just so simple to use. I mean, that's what allows so many different tournaments to be happening and people to be managing all this stuff at once, all at the same time. Now, you talked about the mega tournaments before, and how we hope to have them again soon. How has COVID kind of impacted the operations at the arena at large? Because this was really built upon live events and getting in the same room together and playing as a community like that. And we had, with Go Stadium coming in, we started to see some remote Silph Cups and things like that. And obviously now everything is remote. But how has COVID really impacted the arena? Are you seeing an uptick in tournaments, downtick? Like how is it really impacted?
I think like basically everything else in the world, COVID, kind of flipped everything on its head, and you had to really quickly adapt and overcome kind of some of these difficulties. All the shutdowns, at least in the United States, started happening right when regionals were starting. So it was we had to be very quick to pivot and kind of find a new plan for our regionals and the rest of the cups and the championship season, which was definitely an adjustment. But I think that as far as it could have gone, it went pretty well. As far as impact on participation and stuff like that, participation might have gone down a little bit. Some people aren't quite as comfortable with the remote aspect, or maybe they only want to do in person. But then I think there are others who have found the increase in remotes to be really convenient. Either they don't have time really to go out and do a bunch of these tournaments, or they like the stretched out extended remote format, just based on work schedules or life schedules and things like that. We definitely have seen a lot of new like flash tournaments and people hosting a ton of tournaments all the time, every day. I remember that first week that, Niantic made remote battling possible just for good friends. So you could add someone, send a gift.
Changer.
It was huge. I mean, that was major. And I think that might have been the week with like the most tournaments ever in 1 week, just because everyone was just hosting them 24/7, and it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's just been a lot of adapting and figuring out the best way to do things, and how can we make this still available for people, even with all the different situations around the world.
It's also allowed us some opportunities for some creativity too.
Mm-hmm.
Things like our wild card tournaments that we were able to host remotely and have a whole lot more people have access to them instead of them being, locked in at an in-person event, things like that. It's allowed for some really unique situations to happen too, in terms of the live streams for the championship season and all of that. So it's allowed some different things to happen too that have given us a lot of ideas and things that we learned that we can take with us moving forward into season 3.
I'm hearing words like regionals and continentals thrown around. How does the structure actually work? Because I think it's what's cool about being registered as a community with the arena is it allows for this privatized leaderboard, essentially. So like for the Lured Up podcast, we have our own Discord, and for our patrons where we do our own tournaments. So I'm actually able to see my leaderboard specifically just for that inclusive community. But then you have things like, playing out in the field, and then ultimately regionals and continentals, and then eventually the worlds. How does that whole structure work? Let's say someone wants to plot their path to being the best PvP player in the world, the best there ever was. What's that trajectory look like for a trainer coming from the local remote tournament to regionals and beyond?
So we organize our competition, our season, into a season. We have usually it spans most of a year, about 10 months. And during those 10 months, we have some of those limited cups, those metas. Each month we have a different themed cup. So you start at kind of your local level, participating in whatever tournaments you can go to in your local area or remotes around the world. And it's widespread. Everyone's involved. We have a global leaderboard with kind of the wins, losses, ranking level of everyone in the world. You can look kind of at your national leaderboard and see how you're doing just among people in your country or who have declared in your country by their traveler's card. And then, you have your local leaderboard right there that's just people who have participated in a tournament in your server. So you play your monthly cups, doing your best to win, move your way up the rankings, and most of the way through the season, we have regionals. So that's our way to start filtering from the general field and kind of working our way towards the championship. Invites go out to the best in each kind of region, which is fairly loosely defined. It depends a little bit on player density in certain areas and country lines and state lines and stuff like that. But so you'll play at a regional tournament, which is the best players in your area, your community, and surrounding communities. The winners from regionals and a couple of other people that you can qualify a few other ways go to continentals. This year we were really excited to have 4 continentals. Our first season we were just able to host in North and South America and then Europe. And this year we were able to add one for the Asia Pacific region, covering Asia, Australia, New Zealand. That was something probably that the remotes helped us work in, rather than needing to find a way to get equipment and people and everything out there. The remotes really helped with that, in a sense. So the continentals are the best people on the continent. We're just filtering down to the best players that we can get. And if you can win your continental tournament, which is usually about 100, let's see, Mel, how big was Latin America? Probably about 150-ish this year.
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right. Latin America was huge.
Yeah, they have a lot of battlers, a lot of competitors, which is really quite cool. So you battle against the top people in your continent, and from there, if you can win there, then the top 4 competitors of the world go to the World Championships. World Championships was actually just under a month ago, which was really cool. It's our first time we were able to get the 4 continental champions to face off and battle and crown a world champion. So your path kind of starts at your local area. You conquer your region, you conquer your continent, and then eventually, hopefully, the world.
That's so exciting. It's so cool to be able to follow that. And shout out to Speedy as Chief, by the way, for bringing it home for North America, which was fantastic. Friend of the show. We've had him on before. So it's a big shout out to him. But I love that the whole trip is defined from the local level up to Worlds, and you could really just chart your progress and see that growth, in that that increase in your ranking and literally follow that path all the way to Worlds. That's super exciting. And again, we'll revert back to talking about the community because, as you mentioned, this really is a community effort. Now, the PvP community is, out of any of the subsets of players, raiders, shiny hunters, go snapshot, whatever you want to say as far as these subcultures within the game, the PvP community is definitely the most engaged, passionate, and probably the most outspoken of any of the communities. So how difficult and how important is the community management aspect within the arena? Because there's a lot of voices out there, right? And a lot of loud voices like that. That's got to be a pretty tough thing to make sense of that community as a whole.
I think it's really important that the community feels comfortable enough to voice their thoughts and opinions, because even though we may not always respond to every single message and Reddit posts and everything that is out there, we're still listening and taking notes. And when a lot of people are saying the same thing, that's like, okay, let's sit and listen. Let's quietly sit here and listen to what they're saying, and what thoughts and ideas can we come up with about that. So we really do listen and pay attention, even though we might not always say that and we might not always respond back, because my goodness, if we responded to every single thing, that could be a whole full-time job.
Sure.
But we do listen, and we are watching and hearing what the community has to say, and that's important to us because the community is the one who's playing the game. They're participating in tournaments, they're having experiences, and hearing those experiences, good and bad, is important for us to continue to learn and grow as an organization.
Nice. And there's definitely a ton of social activity around PvP. on Twitter and Reddit. And I think the Silph Arena Reddit is a fantastic resource. Do you think that those two communities have a similar voice, or do you kind of see a little bit of differences between the voice on Twitter and the voice on Reddit? Because I don't necessarily think there's an incredible amount of crossover between those communities.
They're two kind of different platforms, but I think even more than that is that the voice of the PvP community is extremely diverse. I mean, you have some people who are very outspoken on Twitter, and you have some people who are very outspoken on Reddit. But the arena and the PvP community as a whole is truly a global community. And you have people from all walks of life and countries and cultures and backgrounds voicing their opinions and thoughts and their ideas. And I think it's hard to nail down just like one voice. There's some things that everyone wants, and then we can put out a feature and we'll get 55,000 different responses to it. So people might react a little differently on each platform. Part of that's probably just how the platforms themselves work. But beyond that, even it's hard to nail down just one response or one reaction or voice, even on a specific platform.
Fair.
Yeah, because I mean, our communities are all over the place, right? They don't just use Discord. They don't just use Telegram. They're using WhatsApp and Facebook. They organize on all kinds of different platforms. So they communicate with each other differently on different platforms. And so, we might see a lot of public feedback because we hang out on the Silph Arena Reddit a lot or something like that. But, there's a lot of opinions and a lot of thoughts being shared everywhere, all over the place. And it's getting back to us via an email or a direct message or something like that. So just because it's not super public doesn't mean, it's not out there either. I think it's that's what's something that's really special about the arena is that there's no one size fits all. It's different for every group and every community. One community might just be 8 players coming together every month and playing in the monthly cup and having a beer and having a good time together. And other communities are, hosting 128 person remote tournaments daily. And that's what they do. And all of that is spectacular and great and special.
What's also really important, I think, is that since it is so grassroots based, a lot of the talk and a lot of the discussion happens in local communities. We're very fortunate that maybe all, if not most of our team members are tournament organizers or community admins, so that they get a direct line into a lot of those conversations that happen privately, or they're very involved in their local areas and communities just as players, and they get to hear from people on the ground. We get lots of loud voices on social media, which is, you could make an argument that that's what social media is for. But we also get to hear the quieter voices and the more on the ground grassroots voices that make this community so important and so special.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic point, and I actually never thought of it like that because, that you really are in tune with the community because, like you said, a lot of the people that are volunteering and working in the arena are the people that are the organizers or the community leaders or the admins. So yeah, they're a fantastic aggregator of a community vibe that gets pushed right up the ladder. So that's really cool. Now the PvP ecosystem itself is filled with a lot of different components, and of course the battlers themselves is the core and the foundation of it. But we've also seen sites like PvPoke come in. And I mean, you get an announcement that the Circus Cup is coming out, and then almost in real time, PvPoke is like, "Don't worry, Circus Cup stuff is up and built on the site." How important are these kind of resources like PvPoke when you're promoting a new meta or engaging the player base? I mean, this has got to be it's a very interesting dynamic because you have all these third parties working together, right? Is it something where you work directly with PvPoke?
There are definitely, we have working relationships with a lot of content creators, and we're always trying to make new connections and new relationships with people. Sites like PvPoke, sites like PokeBattler, IvyCalc, a lot of those are incredibly important. I mean, they're a huge help for new players who are trying to figure out the way that they want to go. They're a big help for content creators who help create videos and graphics and stream and do all these things that help educate players or get them interested in the new meta. It's big deal to have those kind of people creating content for our platform.
Yeah, and all of these resources help everyone, players and content creators and tournament organizers, and they all deserve a ton of love and respect for what they do, because it's definitely part of the whole ecosystem that is the PvP community, and we appreciate all the hard work that goes into that.
Yeah, and I'll definitely link to all those resources that were just mentioned in the description, so you can check them out, give them a shot, and use them, because it definitely makes for a more robust and educated experience for PvP overall. I love that. And I do want to shout out my good friends over at Go Stadium, and I think that this is an interesting dynamic, because Go Stadium was kind of built around the foundation of running these remote Silph events, and coming from the outside, or someone that may not be involved in the PvP community, may not understand how there's parallels between something like Go Stadium and the Silph Arena. What's the relationship with something like Go Stadium like, and how do you kind of balance what your positions are in the space of competitive format?
There's a lot of communities out there like Go Stadium does some really cool things. You have there's a Latin American Pokemon Go community that does all sorts of team up things and remote tournaments. The European Pokemon League. And we try and have a good relationship, a working relationship with all of them. We had some Go Stadium people helping out with the Continentals and Championship streams. We have people from all over, all these communities helping with some of the judging and the implementing of these. It's important to be able to work together. We're all pushing for the same goal, whether you're a community that hosts remote tournaments or what. But we're all looking to boost Pokemon Go and boost Pokemon Go PvP and just create a really awesome experience.
Yeah, I would definitely say, especially championships this year, it felt very much like a community collaboration, because there were so many different people involved from so many different communities all across the world, which was amazing. People from APAC and people from Europe and people from Latin America, just all wanting to jump in and help and be a part of these special moments in PvP history. And I think that's one of the things that makes the overall community so special, is that, we might have our own communities and places that we call home, the places that we like to play, the places that we turn to. But at the end of the day, we're all part of the same community and we're all working towards the same things together. And that's really unique and different.
Love it. That's exceptionally well said, and I think that's a fantastic kind of snapshot of what the PvP community has become, especially in something like the Worlds production that we'll get to in just a moment, because that was like the coolest freaking thing I've ever seen. It was just so incredibly well done. It was like, I cannot believe that this is the community in action here. It was just so freaking cool. But let's think back when PvP first launched, right? So Silph Arena kind of formed pretty quickly after the launch of PvP. But then you had the release of Go Battle League. And I remember so many people losing their minds when Go Battle League came out and said, oh, what's this going to do to the arena? How is this going to impact it? And now that I have you both here, what is the feeling on the Go Battle League and how the Silph Arena can coexist with something that's being pushed by the first party like Go Battle League?
I think they both have their own places, and they both help each other grow. You can play in Go Battle League and learn some skills and try out PvP, and then you meet someone that through a battle, you bump into them on a Discord and go, hey, I battled you in Go Battle League, and you start a conversation with them, and they're like, oh, hey, have you tried out a Silph tournament? Oh, no, I haven't. Oh, well, hey, come join this tournament. Or you have the other way around where, you've been playing in Silph for forever, and you're like, I'm going to try some Go Battle League and see, what that's all about. And they're different. Even though they're both PvP, they're still different, and they have their room to exist in the same space together, because at the end of the day, people playing PvP is great and fantastic for all of us, because it means everyone's growing and learning and getting better and gaining new skills and getting more in-game resources so they can power up Pokemon, so they can play in fun cup themes. I mean, it all works together, I think. And I think that's a lot of fun. Like, I don't do a ton of Go Battle League, not because I don't like it, just because I don't have a ton of time between organizing tournaments and participating in them myself and other life commitments and things. But I do enjoy it when I play. It's different than Silph. It's fast paced. It's quicker. It's something you could do to pass time quickly. So, they're different things, and they have different feels, and some people might like one over another, and that's fine too. Like, people are gonna enjoy different things, and that's totally cool. But I think they accomplish different things, and that's awesome, because that means more PvP for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. I know we see a lot of things online every time Niantic announces something new event coming up for Go Battle League or anything like that, and you always get a ton of like, oh, that's the end of Silph. They're going away. You see those posts. When they announced Go Battle League, I don't think a single person on the Arena team had a single thought like that. I think every single one of us was just like, that's awesome. We're so excited. Because the only thing, like Mel was saying, Go Battle League and Silph Arena do two completely different things. And the only thing it can do is get more people invested in PvP. So if it becomes a stepping stone for some people to come to the arena, awesome. If it's just more people liking PvP, that's also awesome. I enjoy Go Battle League. I like playing a couple sets a day, maybe one set, depends on the day. It's quick. It's a great way to battle other people. It's more fun than battling the team leaders. But the thing is, at the end of the day, at least for me, it doesn't scratch that competitive itch, so I can get some great battles in. I can enjoy it for fun. But when I'm a competitive person, I go to a tournament and I want to win, even if I don't, because I'm not the best battler in the world. But I'm a competitive person. And so when I'm playing that Go Battle League match, I don't know who I'm going to come up against. I don't know their rating. I don't know their team. So I can't get that fun, like, strategizing. What am I going to bring this time, that time kind of thing. So they're two completely different games within the same platform. And they're both very fun, in my professional, unbiased opinion.
Yeah, no, it's that makes total sense. And, I had this conversation with someone not too long ago when we were talking about the differences between Go Battle League and Silph Arena. And I was like, Go Battle League is like top 40 radio, and the Silph Arena is kind of like punk rock. It's like, there's kind of like, it's both music, they're both music, but there's a little bit of a different vibe, between the two. And I think that, yes, it's hearing the positivity, and really what this is all about is just having people be engaged with the game. It's just having that level of positivity behind it is freaking awesome. And I love cheesy shit like that. So that's really cool. Now, over the past couple months, especially due to COVID, like we were saying, PvP content itself has really started to flourish on Twitch and YouTube. Tons of new creators, tons of streams happening, tons of, broadcasted tournaments, people like Jiggly Dad doing stuff on the back end, like, training people to shoutcast and getting people involved with production. I think there's so much cool shit going on kind of surrounding the world of PvP. And then we had the world stream. And like you were saying, there were so many different people involved with that world stream. And I want to take a step back and talk about that for a minute, because I remember watching it and was so floored. And you did such an amazing job of putting that all together. Is that something that we're going to potentially see more of in the future, or is that something that's kind of reserved for the world's level of competition?
I think it would be awesome to see more awesome big streams like that. I know we have that first Cup of the third season stream happening. Team Rocket Academy helping us out with that. For English speakers, the stream being hosted on the Silph Arena ES Twitch in Spanish. I think we're going to see some more cool video and stream content this upcoming season. It all kind of depends on when we can bring like battle towers and big mega tournaments back, but I think we'll start seeing a lot more streams for those, and maybe even people will start streaming more remote tournaments. We've seen some of them happen already over the past months, people streaming matches of individuals and things like that, but it would be, I think everyone is on the side of more cool productions that we can all kind of get involved in and cheer on our friends and our favorites during tournaments.
Watching the coverage from the tournaments this past year has been one of the highlights for me. I can't always make it out to these big tournaments, so getting to watch what's happening, watch the battles, see who's there, it's a lot more fun than just sitting and refreshing Silph.gg and waiting for the pairings to come through. Like, I love that, especially when, like, a friend is there, you can watch and wait and cheer for them, and, you can still sit there and refresh Silph.gg. Don't tell the dev team I said that. And, wait for the pairings to come through, but being able to watch and see what's happening live at those tournaments is so much fun. And being behind the scenes with Continentals this year was a blast too, because everything was done on the Continental stream on a delay. So all of us behind the scenes, other than the shoutcasters, knew what the results were. So being able to watch and see everybody's reactions in the chat when things were happening that I already knew were happening was so cool. Because you get to see those genuine, real reactions live.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's such a blast. And I love that. I could watch that 1,000 times and be thrilled. So I love watching this stuff. And anybody who wants to do more of it, I highly encourage you to stream tournaments because I will watch. I promise. I live on Twitch, so.
Well, I think that kind of leads into the next thing I want to talk about, and that's the power and the impact from a spectator's perspective that Pokemon Go PvP can have. And, we've been talking for years about, Pokemon Go and PvP as an esport and what it would take as far as the mechanics of the game and how that would need to be produced. And it was amazing to see the community put something together at such a high level that if someone came from the outside, that there's a damn good chance that they would have thought that production was a first-party production because it was that tight and that so well produced. Let's talk about esports just for a quick second. We could talk about the state of the game and how it functions and the issues with the game later. But the game itself, on paper, do you think that the game is ready for an esports kind of environment? Does it require something like the broadcast to be part of that scope? Or does it need something like, Samsung and big money to come in and throw a big ass tournament in an arena or to have thousands of people? Where do you think that PvP is in that esports life cycle right now?
I guess when you look at it from a fan perspective, it's definitely exciting. And the fan aspect and being able to watch and broadcast and see what's going on, I think, is a huge important part of its classification as an esport, and just as an exciting competition. The fans are there. I think that the fans, the PvP community is ready for it to be a sport and to compete at a super high level. This year with everything remote, but even the end of season 1, when we had the continental tournaments live, I mean, the people there watching were so excited and so happy to be there and cheering loudly and reacting to what's going on in an actual live setting, to put a big PvP tournament in an arena and have people in the stands and watching what's going on screens. I think it would be absolutely amazing. And I know I'm personally ready to see that happen as soon as we can, but the fans are ready, I think.
Yeah, I want to get loud and rowdy. I mean, I remember like the Silph parties in Chicago and having like a small tournament happening there and people going buck wild, just going nuts in person. Like that was the best. That's good shit. Like we need that. We need that dynamic. I think I've always been a very strong proponent that this game has what it takes as far as the community is concerned to have that driving force of spectator appeal. And when you look at the tap of it and, people from the outside or from other areas of esports and other games, shooters, fighters, whatever it may be, seeing that the mechanics of the player, it simply looks like they're tapping their screen. But then you have a shoutcaster that can kind of take what they're looking at and put it out in this digestible way that makes sense to the community. I think that's really the dynamic. And I think the big catalyst to Pokemon Go being on that level is really going to come down to how it's covered and the commentary and the shoutcasting. Because when you watch a tournament that has some strong shoutcasting, that's what makes it so easy to engage as a spectator, and that's what makes it exciting. Same thing when you're looking at the TCG. It's not that exciting to see people drawing cards from a deck and turning them over, but having, a shoutcaster kind of break down the process and what's going on and kind of telegraphing what's going on and can call plays before they happen. That's when not only the knowledge of the production team is there, but they're able to transfer that knowledge to the community and empower them with the info that they need to know what the fuck is going on. And it's not just tapping, there's so much more going on. So I'm there with you. I really think that the game is ready. Now, as far as mechanically, PvP has definitely suffered significantly over the past couple months. I mean, there's been, not take away the issues with cheating and exploits and all that bullshit, but just from a function perspective, with issues with the servers and lags and fast move desync and all this stuff. And it seems like we're on a road to kind of at least getting a better understanding from Niantic in real time of what's going on and what's happening about it. But what are your opinions on where the state of the game is and how has this impacted? I can only imagine like the disputes that you get on some of these bigger tournaments when there's so many issues that are happening in the game. Because I know that battlers in my community, they just get so frustrated and so burned that, it's so challenging to be fighting against the game itself rather than just fighting against your opponent. So where are you at with the state of the game? Like, do you think that things really, really need to be cleaned up like soon?
Well, so I will say I'm actually from my position within the arena perspective, the Go Battle League specific known issues page has become my new favorite page because we're working on all kinds of, updates and things for this coming season and thinking about, how do we make things easier for tournament organizers and people who are making judgment calls in tournaments, and knowing what Niantic actually considers a bug or an issue in the game is really helpful for us in determining how to tell organizers how to deal with those issues. So that is so incredibly helpful. And I love that page. Not that I love that there's anything on that page. Let's be real.
Right.
I would
rather
there be nothing there. But having that page and knowing from them, like, this is kind of the current state of the game, but this is something we acknowledge is an issue, helps my team to make better judgment calls on how to talk to the community about these types of issues. And so that's going to allow us to more regularly communicate with the community about, yeah, so Niantic acknowledged that this is a bug, so we should probably treat this as an issue and something that's rematch worthy. So that's one of the things,
okay. Yeah.
that has been actually kind of convenient for us. So that's really, like I said, I would rather there be no bugs at all and everything worked perfectly. But, that's not the reality of anything right now. The world is full of crazy. And so, I get it. Like, it's hard, nothing's going to be perfect. Everything's going to go through ups and downs and trials and errors. And the fact that they're taking steps to actively, resolve these things and look into them, while dealing with the crazy that is this world right now. Like, I appreciate that a lot, that they acknowledge the community and that they want to fix things. But it also helps me and my team so that way we can make for a better experience for players and tournament organizers, to help clear up some of the things that have caused, disputes in the past and things like that.
I love the fact that you're using the known issues page directly as kind of a resource for tournament organizers. I definitely want to make sure that gets pushed up to Niantic so they know that that page is being utilized in that way, because I think that's the absolute perfect way for that page to be used, is really just, empowering the community to know what the hell is going on and validate a lot of those concerns. Like, is this only me, or is this something that's happening to other people? And then, seeing it up on that page. Yeah, we don't want to see anything there, but knowing that, you're not alone in having this weird thing happen, that validates a lot of players' concerns. And again, from a tournament perspective, that makes it a lot easier to, know what's rematch worthy and things like that, because, people have seen it before. So that's fantastic. That's great perspective and insight. Thanks so much for that. What about if you had, a magic wand and you could add anything to the PvP system? Now, this could be something taken out of the main series games. It could be held items. It could be status effects. Like, anything that you would like to see added into the dynamic, portfolio of what you could do in PvP, especially coming from the main series.
As a main series fan, I mean, I would love to see all those, status moves, sleep, burn, just that next level of strategy that we can add into your team building and your battle parties and who you're throwing out when. But I was actually talking about this question with my partner earlier today, and she mentioned something that I actually thought was really interesting, specifically for Go Battle League, would be some way to send a good luck sticker or a good game sticker, or that was really close, before or after a battle in Go Battle League. PvP is really fun, and Go Battle League is really fun to get those battles, but sometimes it feels like you're kind of just facing a computer because you just don't know the person on the other side, and to be able to send a little message to them would be really cool, and just a really fun way to personalize some of those battles.
Oh, I love that. Can there be a sticker that says "Sorry about the lag"?
No, that's awesome. I mean, I play Clash Royale. I played that game for a long time, and there's a very basic emote system in that game, but that has developed into this whole unlockable thing and collectible thing, and I love that. Before the match starts, sending someone a thumbs up or, an angry face or whatever it is, just to set the tone and set the vibe. And then when the match is done and you beat someone by the skin of your teeth and, you give them like the FU emote or whatever, that's just fun as hell. I know it, but I would love that. Man, can you imagine voice chat in like Xbox Live? That would be so awesome. I would love that. All the shit talk. That'd be so great. Getting beat by like an 8-year-old. So funny. So funny. So good. I love that. No, I would love to see special conditions. I would love to see somehow, sleep, burn, that kind of stuff, confusion implemented. I mean, it would need a fundamental rework of the entire move system. It's crazy, but I would love that. Held items are something I could see, being a little bit more practical as an introduction. But yeah, I would love to see that. I think that being a live service game, that this is only on this downhill snowball effect of things that are going to just continually develop and grow over time. Yeah, I would love to see an emote system. I think that would be cool as hell. That would be definitely cool.
I love the stickers already, so I'd be all over that. Even if I'm losing every set, just here's a sticker. Thanks so much for kicking my butt.
Sexy Trico? Give me that Trico sticker every time. It's like, hey, I love it. I love that so much.
The arena girls all send the Trico sticker to each other.
Hell yeah, it's
just
so
as
cool.
A reminder that you're awesome. Don't forget it.
So as we wrap up here, let's talk season 3, and I'm so freaking hyped. When I saw the image come out on Twitter, kind of detailing kind of, how things were going to roll out over the season, with your themed meta cups. And then again, with regionals, continentals, and all that stuff. Talk to us about season 3. What's the scoop? We are so excited for this to happen.
We are too. I mean, I could not be more excited for October to roll around. Planning out season 3 has been it's been interesting. I mean, we're super excited. We're super hyped. We're looking forward to so many cool things that we're gonna do. Awesome new metas. I mean, the little teaser that we had for the October Cup badge, the little video that it kind of came out of the flames. I mean, I flipped out when I saw that at first. That was the coolest thing ever. But we're also kind of in a little of a treading water, just because we don't quite know what the future is going to bring with the global pandemic and everything. So we have that first half of the season kind of rolled out for you, and then the second half we have a general idea of what's going on, but the specific schedule is a little up in the air. But one thing I think is really exciting and cool to point out is we have a mid-season break, and in that mid-season break we have a mysterious event called the All-Star Invitational. Now, we can't give you all the details about that because what fun would that be? um, but it should be a really just kind of cool way to take a break in the middle of the season to showcase some really talented competitors, some really cool personalities, try a couple of cool challenges that, everyone can take part in while just stepping back from that competitive grind for a minute and taking a breath before, charging towards this second half of that season. But you're just going to see lots of cool things coming out of the arena. It's only going to keep getting more and more exciting, and it's only going to keep getting more and more fun, and it's only going to keep growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I'm super looking forward to this season. The growth on the team also means a lot more ideas and thoughts and creativity, and just the hype that new people bring to the team sometimes really invigorates some of us who have been around for a little bit, and you get excited because they're excited, and you're just like, yeah, let's do this, even though you're like, I need a nap right now because I've been writing this thing for 4 hours, but you know what? You're excited about it, so let's do it. So it's really great that we have such a awesome, passionate, excited team that's all on board and ready to go full speed ahead into season 3.
That's fantastic. I'm super psyched, and I'll definitely link to everywhere that the Silph Arena can be found. I'll link to Mel, Dan, I'll do both of your individual Twitter handles so you can represent. It's got to be a lot to handle too, because you've got personal Twitter, you got Silph Twitter. There's so much going on, and we always are very appreciative of people that wear many hats in this community, and it's typically those that wear many hats that stay busy that always find time for others. So we're always so appreciative of everything that you're doing on Twitter, moderating and keeping, directing traffic and all that stuff. So thank you so much for that. I mean, the Silph Arena has been one of the coolest things that, the third party world has brought to this community. It's just absolutely freaking phenomenal. And I want to thank both of you so much for coming on the show and kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit and letting us know a little bit more insight on how the arena operates. I think it's super intriguing. And I know my community is so fucking pumped for season 3. We cannot wait. And even the Circus Cup that we have going on right now, a lot of people excited on the Circus Cup. This is going to be a fun one as well. I have the Circus Cup in my community just starting this weekend, so I'm really excited to play through that. But anyone you want to shout out, give plugs, promotions, please let us know where we can find you. And of course, links to everywhere that we mentioned will be in the podcast description. But please, Dan, Mel, let us know where we can find you.
Everywhere? Just kidding. We have eyes everywhere. I'm watching you. Plug the arena Twitter, all of our wonderful support Twitters, Dan, me, Kratos, Iker, Elsie. We've got a great team on Twitter out there to support everyone if you need help. Our Discord, the Silph Arena Reddit, there's all kinds of places where you can get in touch with us, ask questions, get answers. We're here, and excited that you're all still sticking around on this journey with us, because it's a lot of fun working behind the scenes and seeing the joy and the happiness that this crazy game brings to all of us, and doing something to make it special for people is just an absolute pleasure. So thank you all for playing with us, because this absolutely wouldn't be possible without the amazing tournament organizers and players who are out there. So thank all of you too.
Awesome.
Yeah, that just about covers it. I mean, huge thank you to everyone on the Arena team who keeps things running every single day. It is truly 100% a team effort. You can't point to one person who's keeping things running. Everyone, it's all hands on deck all the time. Always super appreciative to the community and to the content creators and all the competitors who use the platform, create for the platform and everything. It's an endless supply of entertainment and information and just excitement. Like Mel was saying, at SilphGG is our Twitter handle. And then if you plug Mel or Drak or Krydos or Ikare on the end of those, and you'll find our support accounts. Follow any of our social media for constant updates about everything going on. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Discord, Telegram. We're on Telegram. I think I'm not missing anything, but
and the Spanish channels too.
We do have SilphGG ES is our Spanish Twitter, and we have a Spanish Facebook as well. And then we have Spanish support on emails, team@silph.gg, and on Telegram and Reddit as well, Telegram and Discord as well. So we're a diverse team with lots of languages covered, and we're gonna find a way to help everyone that we can, and also just kind of chat about our favorite Pokemon and battle and do things like that too.
Awesome.
Our director would be mad at us if we didn't answer his question that he asked you on Twitter. So we're gonna answer. If the arena had a mascot, the arena mascot would be a panda. We all are obsessed with pandas, and I honestly have no idea why or where it even got started, but we love pandas so much that we call each other pandas. We have a ridiculous number of panda emotes on the Arena server. We love pandas. So if you ever want to show us love on social media or anywhere, just give us some pandas, because we love them. They're really cute and
nice.
Silly and ridiculous, and that kind of sums us up as a group. We participate in cups and stuff too. We actually have team tournaments every month, and sometimes we jump on voice chat all together and someone will shoutcast their matches, and we hang out and play the game too, and have a lot of fun together, remote raid together and all that, all of us crazy pandas.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to everyone on Twitter who did post some questions. Unfortunately, I had to bump them for time, but Pello Pogo, we had Kunamance, we had PvP Steve, Sosa Flo jumped in there too. Thank you so much for putting in questions. We'll have to have Mel and Dan check out that thread so they can plug away a couple answers. But thank you both for being here so much. This was definitely insightful. I really appreciate both of you being here today and taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. It's been a blast.
Awesome. Everyone else, this has been an episode of the Lured Up Podcast Creator Series. Please check out luredup.com for everything that's going on at the podcast. Thank you, everyone, so much. We really appreciate it. And thanks again for coming on, Mel and Dan. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
All right, everyone. Keep training, trainers. We'll see everybody next week.